do. Welcome, guys. On behalf of SIFCA, I'd like to introduce and thank Coach Jeff Steinberg from Beaumont High School. Jeff's had a pretty storied career, won everywhere he's been. Is pretty well known as a guy that's pretty darn good on offense, and I know that you'll gain a ton from listening to Coach's talk about what is it, Coach? The quick game pairing with boot, if I remember correctly, and I'm sure you'll learn a bunch. So, Coach Steiny, this is all yours. Go for it.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it, and really awesome to be part of the SIFCA clinic. Get an opportunity, and especially this year in a totally different way, doing it online, being able to reach out to not only guys in our state but throughout the country. So thank you, thanks a lot. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna share my screen here, and then at any time, if you guys have a question about anything that I'm talking about, if there's something that you want me to clarify, if you have a question about any part of what I'm talking about, just please stop me. Right, it's much better interactive. And speaking of interaction, one of the things that I've really found, especially this past year, is that you have to engage and connect with your players pretty much in everything that you do. So gone are the days where kids are going to just sit in meetings and you're going to present your install or do your playbook or lecture to them. It doesn't work. And especially with the minds of the youth that we have today, how they work, they want to be actively engaged in the content that you're teaching. So some of the stuff that we do is when we're teaching a concept, I'll always, it's kind of like flip learning in a way, because what we'll do is we'll always shoot it out early. So whether it's a scouting report during the week or an install, new play, I'm always going to send it out a day in advance for the players to kind of take a look at, so that when they come into the meeting, they've already got some background knowledge on what we're doing. So in the case of this cowboy concept that I'm going to go through, the players will get it on let's say the Sunday night. So Monday in our meeting, rather than me just standing up there and lecturing for 20, 30, or however many minutes, I'll give the quick presentation. But in the presentation, I'm going to do what we call cold call. So I'm going to, rather than just ask a general question and nobody wants to answer, we're going to keep the kids on the edge of their seat. They know that in a meeting, there's a very good chance that at some point in the meeting, I'm going to call on a kid's name to clarify something, or ask them for the answer, or ask them for some sort of response. So I think that, for starters, keeps them engaged, knowing that, you know what, you're just not going to sneak through a meeting and sit at the back of the room and kick your legs up. You're going to be at the edge of your seat. You're going to be leaning forward, because there's a good chance that I'm going to call on you. And so, for instance, if I ask a kid to clarify a concept, I'll ask the question and then I'll go, Michael, what's the route that he runs? Okay. Michael will tell me, and then I'll go, Dylan, is Michael right? And Dylan will tell me whether he's right or wrong, and then I'll be able to clarify that way. So if a kid does get something wrong, I'll go to the next kid, and that kid has the answer. Then I'll go back to the first kid who got it wrong, so that now we can get it right. So we're gonna do everything possible so that the learning sticks with the kids, and also if they get a question wrong, we'll always come back to them in that install meeting, so that they can get it right. The other thing is that we really, especially this last year, took off with is doing Kahoot tests with our players. So if you don't know anything about Kahoot, I would suggest going online. It's KAHOOT, and it's interactive way of testing your players. And so we make the slides, we put the pictures in the slides. We do, some are true and false, some are multiple choice, and we put them in teams. Sometimes it's position group teams, sometimes it's mixed teams where you'll have an offensive lineman, a running back, a receiver, or a quarterback in the group, and we compete for different prizes. Sometimes it's just acknowledgement, knowing that they're group one, and there's been other times where the last time we did a test before before a game on a scouting report, the winning guy was able to get an in and out gift certificate. So kids really dig that stuff, and like I said, it'll really keep them on the edge of their seats. So, anyways, with that said, I want to get into the concept here. Scott, can they see my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sorry, I was trying to find the
no
mute
problem
button.
at all. So this is a concept that's been pretty involved in my offense for a number of years. And I say my offense, guys, there's like none of this is original stuff. Like maybe there's some tweaks and we'll add our own twist to it. But this is a concept, and I'll tell you about it in a minute here. Something that I got from somebody else a few years ago, and in studying it and seeing what it's done for us, we've just kind of used it more and more and more. I think years ago, people just relied on mirrored quick game, and just defenses are, pretty smart. Coordinators are doing a good job, and this kind of gives us an opportunity to stay one step ahead. All right, so with regards to the quick game, and in particular, two books were written, and I really got into these books 1998, 99, I believe, volume 1 and volume 2, and they were written by Andrew Coverdale and Dan Robinson. And even today, these are principles that we'll use from the books. It's just really good, smart stuff that pretty much fits into any offense. It's not a system per se. It's more of concepts that can be applied to whether you're a wing tee or a pro style or spread offense. So Andrew had a very big influence on me, along with Dan Coverdale. And when I took the job at Santiago, Coach John Rice, who was on our staff, he was our defensive coordinator. He actually had coached with Andrew Coverdale at Trinity in Kentucky, and so I had the opportunity to bring Andrew over in the summer, where I could kind of learn and pick his brain for a few days on some different stuff. And he introduced me at that time to this cowboy concept, which was a quick game on one side paired with a bootleg on the other. And we installed it, and it did pretty well. And so, like, since I guess that was 2009, I've just been kind of doing some different things with it and using it in a variety of different ways in the football game. All right, so just kind of some background. Again, different ways that we can use quick game. So, like, all of us at some point have done just pure quick game, and I think that you get mileage out of it. Probably not as much as we did in the late 90s, early 2000s, where people were playing more single high, soft corner, and more cover 3. Like I said, defenses are pretty smart, the coordinators, so we're seeing different things. Okay, obviously, we can RPO. It could be a pre-snap or a post-snap RPO where you can use the quick game. And then the third way is we'll use the quick game on one side paired with a mid-level concept on the other, where the quarterback can do a full field read. And then the last one is what we have is a quick game on one side, and we can run it out of any formation pretty much. And we'll have a single receiver or two receivers on one side running quick game, while on the other side, the receivers are running the bootleg concept. So just some stats in terms of what this cowboy concept has done for us. This last season, we played 5 games. We used this cowboy concept 24 times. We were 19 out of 23. The one time that we didn't throw it, the quarterback took off and got a first down. We had 0 sacks. So this is one of the great reasons to use it. I think all great passing concepts have terrific protections, and that's where it all starts. And then we averaged 11.2 yards per play. We had 1 turnover, which was just a horrible, not such a bad read as the quarterback just trying to throw something that wasn't there. And we had 1 touchdown off of it. And we're not calling it necessarily to get touchdowns. It's more a way to move the chains and stay ahead of of the defense. In 2019, we ran it 36 times. We were 29 out of 36. Okay, the quarterback didn't run it all. We had 0 sacks. We were 11.4. We had 0 turnovers, and we had 1 touchdown. And in 2018, okay, so those last 2 years were 10-game seasons, or 10 games plus playoffs. We had it 45 times. We called it. Quarterback was 37 out of 42. He took off 3 times. Again, 0 sacks. We were 10.8 yards per play, and then we had 2 touchdowns. So in terms of it being efficient, so play efficiency, we judge whether a play is efficient if it gives us 4 or more yards or gives us a first down. So 82% of the time that we use this play, it's giving us 4 yards. So assuming we're calling it on, first and second and 10 and normal down and distance, or we're calling it on a second and medium and third and medium and fourth and medium, 82% of the time. So this is a great play in terms of what it's going to get you guys on the completion. Okay, now let's look at ball distribution. I love this play because you can distribute the ball, and if we look at quick game, you're going to go with your first or second guy and throw off a key defender, and then if that's not there, the play's pretty much dead. On this play, it gives us something else. So assuming that we start the read, and this is just ball distribution in terms of not left to right, but think about this in terms of like the personnel that are going to get the ball. So this is last year, for instance. The player on the left would be our first read in the offense, in the concept. So our very first read in the concept has gotten the ball thrown to him incomplete 12 times. We've completed 12 passes to him. Then the 3 receivers away are the 3 receivers that would be involved in the bootleg concept. So the next one in the distribution is the widest player, and depending on where we have him aligned, number 1 to the side we boot to, he's either going to run a corner or a comeback. The player in the middle runs what we call a clear, and the player on the inside is the flat player. And then of course the quarterback's got 1 because he took off. So this is great in terms of giving you answers to what you're going to see. And I'm going to definitely get into the film clips with you guys after I talk through this. All right. So let's go over the protection rules, because the protection and the footwork are probably 2 of the greatest things about this in terms of simplicity. So assuming that we are running quick game to the left and we're bootlegging to the right. Okay, so the side that we're running the quick game to, the offensive line's rules are gap down. So that means if I'm the left tackle and we call quick game left, boot right, he's gap down left. So he's C gap, the guard is B gap. If nobody shows in the B gap, he's going to flatten out and come straight down the line of scrimmage and clean it up. Okay, the center's got A gap. Okay, guard's got the other A gap, the tackle's got the B gap, and then the back, who we always keep in to block, has got the C gap, which winds up being the edge rusher. If they bring 2 off the edge, the quarterback's responsible for getting the ball out before that other guy gets the ball to him. So it's very important when you're teaching this to your players, they're responsible for a gap and not the player. So if we get an odd front where we're going to get a nose and a 0 on the center is going to step. He's going to step. If the nose steps and tries to cross his face, he's going to stay on him. If the nose works to the other A gap, the center is now going to flatten out down the line of scrimmage and clean it up. All right. Any questions on that, gentlemen? Okay, now the quarterback footwork. So what we teach in the quick game in gun is he's going to take 1 step on the catch and then 1 step before he throws. So we just call it's a 2-step. It times up really well with our quick game. Some guys will use the rocker step. We don't. I think they both work. I just am a firm believer on the 2-step timing up with the quick game, and it's not big footwork. It's more just using his feet to time up with the routes. So we call it tap tap. So assuming if the quarterback's right-handed, okay, to the left, he's going to go left, right, throw. Left, right, throw. Even if it was to the right, he would go left, right, throw. Now, if the throw isn't there, off his right foot, he's going to pivot and now he's running sprint out or dash pass to the other side. All right. So think of this as very similar in terms of the way it winds up to the dash pass that the Redskins were running throughout the 80s with Joe Theismann at quarterback. They would invite the rush, and then the quarterback on his fifth step would dash out. This kind of does the same thing. So with the blocking scheme from the offensive line and the quarterback's footwork, we haven't had a sack. You're going to see sometimes, I'm going to be honest, there's a couple times the quarterback gets hit. He's never been sacked. We always, when we have to convert into the bootleg part of it, he always manages to get out there and make a play. All right. So this would be the rules if we were in 2x2, and I draw all of these on the left hash. Generally, we're gonna work it when we're on or near a hash. We don't do it out of the middle of the field, but I'll be honest, it could be. But we like to do it when we're on or near a hash, which in high school is probably most of the time anyways. So the receiver into the boundary, the wide receiver into the boundary, who I'll call X, quarterback's going to just tag him on a hitch, a slant, a quick out, or a fade, depending on what he sees for coverage, okay? The number 2 guy is going to run what we call an USM, under Sam over Mike, okay? Under Sam over Mike. And then the outside receiver to the side we boot to, he's going to run if he's in his normal splits, he's going to run a comeback. But if we have him compressed inside, he's going to run a corner route. And then the most inside receiver in 2x2, okay, he's going to run what we call a whip. So he's going to angle in, and then he's going to whip back out. And he doesn't need to be in a hurry to do it because he wants to time up with the quarterback. This comeback route is going to be an out-breaking route, and it's going to be at 18 yards. So our comebacks are normally 14 yards inside breaking, but the receivers know that anytime the quarterback's sprinting out to them, it converts into an 18-yard outside breaking comeback. Okay, now if we're in 3x1, again, the receiver into the boundary, that's going to be our quick game guy. He's going to get tagged. Then the receivers to the field. Okay, number 1, if he's in his normal alignment, he's going to run comeback. Middle guy, he's going to run a clear. Okay, and then what we've done this last year is we've simplified it. He's going to clear if there's grass inside and the guy's over top of him, he's just going to settle and curl up. And then the inside guy runs the whip. Okay, if we're in 2x2 here now, we're compressed. So you could see 1 into the boundary. Okay, he's getting tagged on his quick game. 2's running USM, or inside's running USM. And then to the field, in his normal alignment, he would have run a comeback. We've compressed him. So we call the front guy 1, the back guy 2 here. Okay, the front guy's going to run the corner, and the back guy's going to run his whip. Okay, now out of empty, we put our running back to the field because he's just going to be our edge guy to set the edge for us. Okay, and then you can see, guys, that basically to the receivers in our system, they don't even have to worry where the back line's up because we always tag the running back anyways, so he doesn't interfere with their routes, and they don't have to learn anything new. So he's not part of the count. So single receiver into the boundary or wide receiver into the boundary, quick game. Inside receiver into the boundary, USM. Outside receiver to the field, normal alignment, comeback. Inside receivers running the whip, and then the back's involved in the protection. And then here's lastly quads, which to our receivers is 3x1. So the only thing that changes now is the middle guy is going to run the clear read, and then the inside guy runs what we call the whip. Coaches, does anybody have any questions on any of this stuff?
Doesn't look like it right now, Coach, but if anyone does have a question, please type it into the Q&A or the chat box, and I will help relate to Coach.
Awesome. Terrific. All right. So I'm going to take you guys through the cut-ups now, and then when we're done, after the cut-ups, if anybody has any questions, we'll go through them. All right, so here we go. I'm going to start off at the top here. Okay, so we're on the right hash. Receiver into the boundary, quick game. He's running Usum to the field. Number 1 should run a comeback. Okay, number 2 should run the whip. Okay, so the very first thing the quarterback's going to do is he's looking at the quick game. So we would ideally like a clear alley, or if there's a defender in the alley, is if he's opening up his hips and working outside, the quarterback's going to come off it. So that's the very first thing. So simple read. So guys, it starts off just like when you're throwing quick game. Okay, so you can see, but the quarterback winds up booting out. Now, this was my first year at Beaumont that we did this one. So this is a couple of years, 3 years ago. We do not have the quarterback flip turn like that. He would not flip turn like that. Okay, the other thing is that you'll notice is watch the corner back out and the inside defender stays inside and doesn't widen. Theoretically, he should have thrown the ball. But here's the great thing, because he has a parachute and he just did not feel comfortable throwing it, he's now bootlegging back to the field. When he boots back to the field, our very first guy that we're looking for is the flats. Okay, the ball's a little late. Okay, I'm going to show you. This clip is from this year. Okay, so we're in pro alignment. So we've got tight end to the field, but we're in 2x2. So the receiver into the boundary, he's going to run quick game. Guys, you'll notice it's fourth and long. Receiver number 2 is going to run the Usum. Okay, we're running comeback. It's at 18 yards, so we're not too worried. The quarterback should know what we want to do with this. On 4th and long, he'd be a fool to run the quick game into the boundary, and then he's going to run the flats. And then that gives us a first down. Okay, so again, guys, not an ideal call on 4th and long. Probably should have called something else, but this is still giving us an opportunity. Now the quarterback, take a look at the corner. Corner's squatting. There's a safety over the top. We're not going to that side. So there he goes, comes off of it. I want to show you his footwork one more time. And now he's just coming out to the field. Okay, now we are in 2x2 compressed. So 1 into the boundary. He's either called him on a quick game or a fade. Number 2's running an Usum. Guys, it's so simple. Like we can get really good at this and just dress it up with different formations. Okay, 1 to the field should be running the corner, and 2 to the field should be running the flats. Okay, so this is first down, I believe. So again, when we talk about play efficiency, okay, I don't know if we got the first down there or not, but that's given us 2nd and short. That's a pretty good football play. Here we are compressed again in 2x2. So I don't know if he called them on quick game or fade. Okay, we've got the Usum. Okay, and he doesn't quite get deep enough in the end zone. He should probably get a little more deep, you'll see. 1, because he's compressed, he's going to run the corner route, which we wind up throwing, and 2's going to run the flats. So here comes the quarterback, doesn't like the look because he called quick game, didn't convert him to a fade, which is, again, guys, like I know that a lot of times our answer is, hey, we're going to run hitch or slant. And our answer to that is, if they press, we're going to convert to a fade. And that's kind of like normal rules, what a lot of guys are doing in quick game. And I don't think that always gives you the best answer, because what happens is you've taken quick game, which is high completion percentage. Okay, so this cowboy concept was in the, I think, mid to high 80s for completion percentage. But with quick game, you take high completion percentage and now you tell a guy to run a fade, and now I'm going to throw the fade. Well, the reason I called the quick game is I wanted to get 4 to 6 yards. So this is smart of the quarterback of not always converting the receiver to a fade either. Okay, so we don't like the look. We now boot to the field. Okay, now to the field, guys, normally we're going to look for the flats first. If we look for the flats first when the receiver's compressed, we're going to not be able to get the ball out on rhythm to our player running the corner route. So now when we have that number one receiver to the field compressed, he's looking for him first. And there he is. And the ball's out a little late, but it's a touchdown. Okay, and I'll show you that once more. Okay, so there he comes off the quick game. He boots to the field, and we get the corner out. He should have taken him to the back of the end zone.
Coach, you did have a couple questions pop up here.
Yep.
The first one was, what is the rule for the sit by the clear route?
So I'll show you when the clip comes up, but normally if there's space between the defender underneath and a defender over the top, and the defender underneath doesn't run with you and kind of lets you go, you sit. So sit before you go into the top end of that coverage. If there's nobody in the top end, obviously he should keep on running. So let's say, for example, on this, there's somebody on the top end. Okay, he would run and just settle underneath. If that player carried him, he's going to keep running with him. Any other questions?
Yeah, the next one was, how did you decide on your break points for the quick game routes, and do you adjust them year to year based on personnel?
Yeah, that's a great question. So our quick out, so some of our routes are yards based, and some of our routes are steps, landmarks based. So I'm going to give you an example. When we run a hitch or a quick out, okay, we want those at 6 yards, hitch and quick out. When we run a slant, we want the receiver to take 3 steps and then break inside at the hash at a 45-degree angle, which will run them at about 10 yards. If we run a stick route, that's going to be a 6-yard route. And then the second part of that is those have been pretty much steady for a long time now. Okay, here we are down. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was it.
Okay, so now here we are down in the red zone. Okay, there's our quick game. So you can see he's looking at him right now. Okay, take a look at the offensive line. Everybody's engaged, and the ball comes out. So we're quick game, and it's a drop. Okay, so left, right, throw. And then you can see all the other receivers are breaking at the time that he would be coming off of that. Okay, here's 2x2 again. Okay, so we're going to take a look. Here's your alley defender. Here's your corner. So the corner, guys, it's soft corner alley defender sitting on top of number 2. So this kind of looks like some sort of man into the boundary. All right, so we're just going to watch them as he drops. And we're throwing quick game. Okay, and then if you take a look to the field, so to the field, guys, if he had to come off of this, he has the USM working across, he has the corner route, and then the flat route getting caught up, and the corner route would have come open by the way the corner was turned. All right, we're now in 3x1 compressed. Okay, so we're taking a look, and I think on this one he throws a big one. Okay, and just airs it out. And like most of these times, guys, like we've designated what that route's going to be before we just call the play. We're not really looking at the defense. We're assuming what the coverage is going to be. But sometimes the quarterback, we will give him the flexibility to tag that receiver on a vertical if he's getting pressed with no safety over the top near him. So they're in a single high. The safety shouldn't be able to get over there. Okay, 3x1 again. Okay, so I think he called slant into the boundary. Okay, there's the slant. The quarterback's already off it. And there's the flats. Now, one of the things, guys, like we try to give the quarterback absolutes, like there's no alley defender. He could have thrown. I like the fact that the quarterback didn't feel like he had to fit the ball through a tight window. That's the great thing. Like if this was just pure quick game, guys, he's fitting it in that tight window. The great thing is he's got a parachute here. He's got a safety net that if he can't put it in a nice clean window, he's coming off it. There's your flat opening up right now. Okay, so test time here. I'm gonna actually give you the answer. So quick game into the boundary. Okay, quarterback's gonna take a look. If he comes and the corner's backing off, we should be good to go. If he drops and the quarterback doesn't like the look, he's gonna come off it. Okay, the furthest guy or number 1 to the field, he should be running that 18-yard comeback. 2 should be running the clear, and if he can, he's gonna sit. 3 is gonna be running the flats. Okay, you'll see the quarterback came off. And again, could he have thrown it? I don't know. This is an end zone film. So the great thing is, guys, you don't have to get into that conversation with your quarterback that, hey, dude, he was open. Quarterback just didn't feel like it was. He felt like that linebacker was going to get underneath that route. So we're good with that. So now he just comes off it. Okay, guys, check that out. He's going to throw this. Okay. It's being squeezed, which opens this up. Okay, again, same game. We're going to go quick game into the boundary first. Now, guys, you'll see that should have been thrown. He came off that early. So this is one of those outside linebacker comes, nobody's in the alley. Your corner is playing soft, play catch. Play catch. Okay, he comes off it. If you take a look at the down and distance, it's first and forever. And the reason, guys, the reason he didn't throw the clear is earlier in the game, we had a too high look. One safety comes down, and then the other safety spun, and it was on him. He throws to him. So, and it got picked. That was that one interception off of this play that we've had in forever. I don't think we've ever thrown an interception on this play other than the one that we threw this year. So he's a little gun shy. So he's just thinking, let's just get some yards back. And now it gives us second and medium to second and short. Okay, we just moved the chains. So we got a first down. We're coming off that first down now with our cowboy concept. Okay, boom, pitch and catch. Okay, second and 2. All right. We've got now third and short. Okay. The quarterback spies and sees the linebacker again and feels like he's going to get underneath the route. So now he's going to take off. The routes are covered up. He could have thrown the settle or the comeback. You'll see both of them are open. He's just going and taking off for a first down. So you guys can see there's a lot of answers built in. That's the beauty of the play is the simplicity in terms of the install once your players learn the rules, and then just putting them into your personnel packages and your formations that you run out of them, and then using this as a way to kind of stay ahead of the chains. Second, and we call this normal down and distance. It's 2nd and 8. Okay. And there we go. So gives us third and 1, which is, what we want. Okay, a couple more. This was the first year. So we have a penalty on this play. This is year 2 at Beaumont running it. Okay, so we've got quick game or fade up top. We're in quads. So running back's going to set the edge, hold the edge, and then we should be running 18-yard outside breaking comeback. Okay, clear and whip. And we throw the slant and we drop it. Okay, and then again, guys, like if your quarterback throws it and no defender gets a hand on it, unless you're going to have a rule, hey, I want soft corner, no alley defender when you throw this. Like if that's going to be your rule, live with that. I don't have that rule built in. I'm like, if we can throw it, throw it. If you don't feel like you can, you've got a safety net. So if he didn't throw it, take a look what's going on here, guys. We can come back to the field and get a completion for probably a first down. Okay, we're compressed. One of the few times we go middle of the field. Okay, there's your quick game. Boom, pitch and catch. Nice tight turn. Get good yardage on the play. Okay, up top. There's the fade. Tap, tap. Ball's out. Dropped. Okay, if you take a look back down to the field, this is quads compressed. There's our routes. Somebody's coming open every play. Okay, cover 0. So guys, and the other thing is, we do have some stuff in our offense that's okay. These are our blitz beaters. This is our cover 3 beater. This is our cover 2 beater. Okay, these are our quarters beaters. But really, like most of our really good stuff, I feel like is all coverages, and can help us move the chains. And just a good, efficient play. Okay, so again, I've showed you all the different coverages. Okay, you got a guy who can match up with people, get him the ball. I've got most years where I don't have a guy like that, so we're probably coming off of it when they press and coming back down to the field and throwing the ball and getting a completion.
Coach, you had another question pop up
Yep.
here. I was wondering if you could talk a little more about the back in pass pro, especially if the end to the sprint side is a good player. Would you have the tackle help in that case?
Never. Yeah, and great question. So like I coached at Santiago, Rancho Verde, and Beaumont while I was running this. And so we've really seen the spectrum of different types of defensive ends. I've seen just like your normal high school kind of football player and somebody who could wind up in the Pac-12 or go to an FCS school even. And we've never had an issue with a guy getting in the quarterback's face. Remember, like this isn't 7-on-7 where they know you're throwing the ball. There's your run game's involved. Your back has different releases. So we never just have a guy pinning his ears back knowing, okay, I'm going to have the quarterback if he rolls out to this side. It starts off looking like quick game, so that gives the running back time to get on his outside shoulder. So it's really important, and I'll go back to a clip where you can see the running back's release and his landmark, is we want him to take a wider path so that he works to that defensive end's outside shoulder to pin him. The tackle should always be working down. So let's take a look here. Okay, so you'll see where our running back setting on the outside edge of the defensive end, and he's just being patient. Okay, so our running back this last year was all league, dynamite running back as a sophomore. he's 5'7" on a good, probably 5'7" in cleats. He's maybe 145 pounds, super fast. We don't, he's not being used because he's just a phenomenal pass blocker. Okay. We want to get the ball to him, but he's effective at doing this. So the very most important thing, guys, when you're teaching the running back is do not be in a hurry to block him. Set it up. So I'll just go back again. Watch how the running back is just patient. Lets the defensive end make his move. Now take a look at the offensive tackle, and he's down. And we're just cleaning up the wash. There's no, guys, look at that. Quarterback gets out clean. And there's your settle route that he throws. The comeback will almost always be open. We tell our players it's really important to get in that corner's blind spot. So if you watch the wide receiver up top running the comeback, take a look at the corner, guys. He's playing outside shade on number one. We release. We're able to attack his leverage and get outside in his blind spot. There's no way the corner is going to come back and make a play on that. And there's your quick game. Boom. Pitch and catch. We don't want him turn like that. Tight turn when you catch the ball. Okay, we really want him to turn outside on this, not lose yards to get back to where he was. But it does give us second and short. Soft corner. And if you, again, guys, if you take a look, like should have played catch. There's no reason he should have come off of this. Look at the outside backer. He's inside, play catch. He doesn't like it. Here's our flats thrown for a first down. All right. So at this point, if there's other stuff you guys would like to see, I see there's some questions and stuff here.
Those were taken care of already.
All right. If you guys have any other questions or like any stuff we do with our kids or what we're doing in the offense, I'd be more than happy to talk about other stuff too. So please feel free to ask.
Jeff, I want to jump in just because I have this and just ask. You have mentioned 7-on-7. Doing this cowboy concept in 7-on-7, windows tighter, a little tougher, no big deal though, right?
We just know it's just not going to be a big play because they'll probably call us on time anyways. If we don't throw the quick game thing. So I showed you guys through the analysis at the beginning, what it does for us. I don't think it's going to do the same thing in 7-on-7. So I'm going to work on our pure quick game in 7-on-7 or our quick game with the mid-level, the late breaking stuff. If we were going to use this in 7-on-7, like most of the time, like I'd probably use it like down in the red zone, or I would have our quarterback working on throwing the comeback when he boots out.
Right. Awesome. Thank you.
Yep. We got a quiet audience. Either you guys are or I bored you and you fell asleep, or just give me some feedback.
You have one more that just popped up. This one is: do you do this pass pro with any other concepts, or is it specific to this one?
That's an awesome question. So we really believe like less is more. Guys, at one time, like I really took a lot of pride in all these different route adjustments and this and that and how we could change this. And we had all these different protections. And I found like when I started eliminating stuff, like it was just a lot easier to coach and call stuff in a game because it gave us answers in a game rather than having like, the Cheesecake Factory menu style call sheet. Doesn't work. I want an in and out style of call sheet. So we have really two protections. So we have our normal gun protection that we use with mirrored quick game and our intermediate and deep stuff. And then we have our bootleg concept, pass pro. And our bootleg is used for this cowboy concept that I just showed you guys. And it's also used for our naked boot. The only difference on naked boot is we probably want their demeanor with pad level a little lower, just to sell run. But that's it. Like, I don't believe in 3 million different pass pro schemes. And our normal pass pro scheme, guys, is we've got a man side and a zone side. Okay, the man side will be a guard and tackle and possibly a running back. And then the zone side will be the center, guard, and tackle.
Another one just popped up. Out of 2x2, do you tag the cowboy side, or is it just built in that players know the field as the comeback in whip route?
Yep. So they know that if they're away from the quick, first of all, they know if they're going to be on the bootleg side, just because if we're on the left hash, the guys to the field would be the bootleg concept side. The guys to the boundary, the receiver to the boundary, would be quick game. That's how I started always calling it on or near a hash. So you know that if you're to the field, your boot. If you're wide receiver to the boundary, you've got quick game or tagged route, and then number 2 into the boundary always runs the USAM. And then I see a question here. What's been your most efficient mid-level concept that you've paired your quick game with? Spacing. So quick game on one side and spacing on the other. And spacing is one receiver running like a curl, or what we call a modified curl. One receiver running what we call a sit route, trying to get head up over the ball at 5 yards, and then a receiver being the flat runner. And then when we teach that with the quick game, we'll start off with the quick game, and then if that's not there, we'll go full field read. So for instance, if I had quick game on my left, spacing on my right, I'd look at the key defender and throw off of him. But if I didn't get a nice window, I'm now going to progress. And the way that I'm going to progress is I'm going to go sit to the curl or modified curl to the flats, so the quarterback can work all the way across. Any other questions, guys, on any of the other stuff that we're doing? Or
I think that may be it, Coach.
all right. Well, I appreciate it, guys. And let me, in case you didn't get my info, you can either email me. I'm super easy to get a hold of, and I return calls. I'll give you my cell number, 760-977-1855. My email, district email's there, or easiest way is Twitter at Coach Steiny. Thanks a lot, guys, and Coach Morrison, thank you very much, man.
Thank you, Coach. Great job. Really appreciate you,
Appreciate it,
and
gentlemen.
did a great job.
Very good. Thanks, guys.